Welcome to Paritranaya. This is day 20. Yes. So yesterday we started with the discussion of economics, right? So we discussed a few topics of economics. So can you recall which are the topics that we discussed? We discussed about GDP. Next we discussed about inflation. Next we saw the relationship between inflation and interest rate. We also saw the relationship between interest rate and economic growth, right? Employment creation and economic growth. So can we maintain both economic growth and inflation at the same time? Okay, so it has to be balanced. And who is involved in controlling the inflation? RBI, Reserve Bank of India, is involved in controlling of inflation. Okay. Next, after that we also discussed about the currency related things, right? What was that? Yes, currency appreciation and depreciation. Okay. So whenever currency appreciates, so it helps our exports. True or false? Whenever currency appreciates, whether it will help our exports? No, it will not help our exports. When the currency depreciates, it will help our exports. Okay, exports. Next, what we discussed? So yes, we discussed about the forex reserves at the superficial level. So forex reserves are maintained by whom? RBI. So why forex reserves are maintained? When the dollars become costly, so that Indian importers should get dollars at a cheaper price. Okay, at a cheaper price. So they will build the reserves. Okay, they will build the reserves. So RBI will sell the dollars to the Indian businessman. So when the rupee appreciates or when the rupee depreciates? When the rupee depreciates, RBI will sell the dollars to the Indian businessman. Okay. When rupee is appreciating, it means when the dollar is available at a cheaper rate, what RBI will do? It will purchase the dollars from the international market and it will build up the reserves. Okay, it will build up the reserves. Okay, so these all things we have discussed. So let us try to connect the things that we have discussed to the dynamic aspects. That is, every day when we shall try to compare it with the content of the current affairs, that is newspaper. So directly I will go to economics page. So what UPSC expects is, does not expect you to read so and so books. What it expects is whatever comes in the newspaper, you should be able to comprehend that content. Okay, so that's the focus of UPSC. Because when you become an officer, so all the developments that are happening around you, so you'll become aware of those things with the help of newspaper. Okay, but in newspaper you do not have complete content. That background information you have to build. Okay, you have to build. So we can start with any of the articles. Okay, we can start with any of the articles. So probably tariff on Indian pharma supplies will strain US healthcare budgets. So we can start with it. So for preparation of economics related concepts, this is a very important page. Okay, this is a very important page, business related page. Okay. So we shall start with this article. Okay. Tariff on Indian pharma supplies will strain US healthcare budgets. So by just looking at the headline, sometimes we'll be able to understand the developments that are taking place. Okay, that are taking place. Dr. Rahul, I'll urge you to please. Okay, you're going to the newspaper? Okay. Okay. So tariff on Indian pharma supplies will strain US healthcare budgets. So gradually when we start understanding the concepts, just by looking at the headline itself, we'll start understanding. Means what they are trying to say. But we need to understand the terms which are present over here. Okay. Now tariff, what do they understand by tariff? So first time we will be hearing these terms. Okay. Tariff on Indian pharma supplies will strain US healthcare budgets. Okay. So here India is there, pharma is there, US is there, healthcare budgets. So this has appeared in the context of new tax being imposed by Trump on Indian products. Okay, on Indian products. So what is the background that is required here? So if you look at the background, here we have USA, here we have India. Okay, here we have India. So some goods, when they are imported from USA to India, okay, so India will impose some taxes. Let's assume a pen is imported from USA, a pen costs $1, so extra some taxes will impose, and it will, the cost of the pen in India, it will become $1.2. It will be converted in terms of rupees. So we are going to impose taxes when a product is imported from other country. Okay, from USA when a product is imported, so we are going to impose taxes. Okay, we are going to impose taxes. Similarly, when an Indian product goes to USA, let's assume its value is 30 rupees, but USA will impose some taxes, so the final product value will become 35 rupees. So again, it will be converted in terms of dollars. Okay, dollars. So in case of export import also, countries, they impose taxes. Okay, they impose taxes. Now, okay, we will not go into other concepts like free trade agreement and all. Now, in India, whether it will be good if we impose less taxes or more taxes?
More taxes.
Yes. Again, there are both pros and cons. If we impose more taxes, then probably government will get more revenue. Government will get more revenue. But if you impose more taxes, if the pen which is available for $1.2, if you impose more taxes and if it becomes $2, the same pen, the actual cost is $1, but you are imposing extra tax of $1, so it becomes $2. Now what happens to its selling? The selling will increase or it will decrease? It will decrease, because Indians, they will not buy a product which has become costlier. So automatically what happens? The sale will get reduced. Okay, the sale will get reduced. Now it will impact which industry? Industry present in India or industry present in USA? Yes, present in USA, because this pen we have imported from USA. So when the sales get reduced in India, automatically the production, next time our Indian businessmen, they will say, now we don't want any more pens from you. So what happens? In USA, automatically pen production will come down. Okay, will come down. The same will be true for India as well. Now India, let's assume, here we will take the example of pharma itself. So what is pharma? Medicines. Okay, so some tablet strip, okay, tablet strip pertaining to some blood pressure, okay, or any other disease. Now initially this strip, let's say it costs 100 rupees. Okay, 100 rupees, and everything will be converted into dollar. We shall not worry about those aspects. But in USA, initially the tax was 10%. Tax was 10%. So people used to buy it by paying 110 rupees. Cost is 100, extra 10% tax, it will become 110. Okay, 110. Now all of a sudden, what Trump has decided is, he has decided to increase the taxes on the products which are coming from India. So he is increasing the tax by, let's say, around 30%. Okay, by 30%. So already 110 is the cost. So if he makes it 30%, then the same strip will now be available at 130 rupees. Okay, 30 rupees. Okay. Now we shall not go into the practical aspects. So there may be people who may purchase it even if it becomes costlier. Okay, they may purchase it even if it becomes costlier. We shall not worry about those things. Now, similar to India, there will be some other country, for example China or Britain, some other country will also be supplying to USA. The same strip of tablet will be supplied under a different brand name. Okay, in India we have Indian brand name, so with a separate brand name it will be coming to USA. Now on Indian products, taxes imposed is more, 30%. On Britain products, taxes imposed is less. Okay, now what happens in USA? The tablet strip which has come from UK, it will be cheaper. The tablet strip which has come from India, it will be costlier. Now what happens? Automatically the Indian tablet strips sale will get reduced. Okay, will get reduced. So which industry it will impact? USA's industry or India's industry? India's industry, because we have manufactured in India and we are exporting it. Automatically in India, what happens? The manufacturing, manufacturing in the pharma industry will get reduced, because the US, the people who are going to sell them, so they will place less orders. So automatically here, what happens? Production will come down. When production will come down, what happens? Employment will come down. Okay, it will have positive impact on India or negative impact on India? Negative impact on India. Okay, negative impact on India. So in that context, this article has appeared. In that context, this article has appeared. So tariff on Indian pharma supplies. Tariff means taxes. Taxes on India pharma supplies. So whatever the medicines that are being exported from India to USA, so on that tariff, additional taxes that are being imposed under the Trump administration will strain US healthcare budgets. Okay, so what does it mean? Now in India, we have so many programs, okay, healthcare programs. For example, vaccination is there. Okay, so free vaccination program is there. So universal immunization program, that what we call it as. Next we have programs like Ayushman Bharat. There are so many programs. Now if we take universal immunization program itself as an example. So vaccines are given freely. Can you give me one example of a vaccine which is administered freely? The most famous vaccine is polio vaccine. So polio vaccine, the government is administering freely. But whether government will get it freely, whether the Almighty will give to the government saying that in India there are so many polio victims, so please take it. No. There will be some company which will be manufacturing the polio vaccines. What government will do? Government will purchase the polio vaccines from them. So probably per dose it may be 20 rupees, 30 rupees, 50 rupees, whatever it will purchase. Then it will start administrating the polio vaccine to the children free of cost. Okay, free of cost. Now, the polio vaccine which is available at 50 rupees. 50 rupees. So let's assume there are 100 children in India. So what will be the cost? 50 into 100? 5,000. Now all of a sudden, if the cost of one dose of polio, if it increases to, let's assume 100 rupees. What will be the cost? 10,000. To administer the same polio to 100 children, the cost will almost get doubled by, it will almost get doubled. So it will become 10,000. Okay, 10,000. Now I took only 100 children here, but in a country there will be what? Millions of students, millions of children. So automatically the cost will increase. Okay, the cost will increase. So this cost will be borne by whom? Who is going to bear this cost? Government. Okay. So government has already set some budget. So 5,000 rupees for vaccine, but now government has to increase its budget. It has to increase it to what? 10,000. Okay, 10,000. Similarly in USA also they have many programs. They have many programs. Now, for those programs to run successfully, let us assume similar kind of polio program exists in USA as well. Similar kind of polio program exists in USA as well. Now, in USA, let's assume there are no this vaccine manufacturers or polio vaccine manufacturers. All the polio vaccines are being imported from India. So, all the vaccines are being imported from India. Now, what happens? Because of the increase in tax, what happens? The government, when it is purchasing, so automatically the cost of the government will increase. Previously, if it was spending what? Just 5,000 rupees, now it has to spend 10,000 rupees. Now what happens? When the cost increases, probably it may start buying lesser number of vaccines. Rather than giving it to 100 children, they may only select 50 children and they may give vaccination only to 50 children. So what? Because of what? Because of the increase in the budget. Okay, budget. So will strain US healthcare budgets. So when USA increases the tariff on the imports from India, it will impact India, we have already seen. But at the same time, whether it will impact USA? Yes. On one side it will benefit. How? USA government will get more taxes. But at the same time, when it comes to healthcare budget, so healthcare budget will increase. And here we took the example of a what? We took the example of a government. Now let's assume there is some cancer patient or some other patient who is not covered under the government program. Now when he goes and purchases a tablet which is imported from India, so previously it was available for 100 rupees, now it has become 130 rupees. Now that patient, if he is rich enough, then it is okay. But if he cannot afford, then what happens? So he will have a negative image about the government which is present in USA. So because of the coming of this new government, so they have increased the taxes. So that kind of negative impact will also be there in USA as well. Okay, USA as well. But here in this article, what they have highlighted? They have highlighted that tariff on Indian pharma supplies will strain US healthcare budgets. So now, without reading this content itself, you have understood what is the background. So this understanding of the background is very important. Okay, understanding of the background is very important. So in the examination, they may try to rightly frame questions like this. So when the tariffs on Indian imports are increased, so it will definitely benefit USA from all the dimensions. No. Okay. In some aspects it may benefit, but not in all the aspects. Okay. No, in all the aspects. So here we learnt about a new term called as tariff. Okay. Few of us who are not aware of the term called as pharma, we also got to know about what is pharma. So tablets, vaccines, all of them, they come under pharmaceuticals. Okay. Pharmaceuticals. US President Donald Trump's decision to impose 25% tariffs on goods imported from India may interrupt the smooth trade flow, inflate US drug costs. Okay. Here it's all about understanding. So US President Donald Trump has decided to impose how many has decided to impose the tariff rate of 25% on goods imported from India. Okay. India may interrupt the smooth trade flow. So it will disturb the smooth trade flow. So previously whatever the trade existed, automatically it will come down. Okay, it will come down. So here you have to understand, that's it. Inflate US drug cost. What is the meaning of inflate? Okay, inflate means automatically it will increase. Okay, the cost will increase. So in USA, the cost of the drugs will increase. The cost of the drugs will increase. Stall treatments, what does it mean? Yes? Halt the treatment. The people who are undergoing treatment or who want to undergo treatment, when the cost increases, probably they may postpone. Now it is costlier, let us wait for some time. So it will stall the treatment. Okay, stall the treatment. And put even greater pressure on American healthcare budgets. Okay, cautioned pharmaceutical experts in India. So the pharma experts in India, they have said that this may have such kind of negative impact on USA. So these are the points which can be quoted in mains. So what kind of impact will the new tax imposed by USA on India have on USA? Okay, especially when it comes to pharma sector. So here it may interrupt the smooth trade. Option first one. Second one, it will inflate the US drug costs. Third one, it will stall the treatments. And fourth one, it will put greater pressure on American healthcare budgets. The same content you are going to use in mains. Okay. From the prelims point of view, this understanding is sufficient. You are not going to make notes out of it, or even if you make notes also, so directly they are not going to frame. Here nothing is there to memorize. Okay, unlike the other part where we have discussed like constitution, aptitude, article numbers and all. So here we need not memorize. Once we understand, so that is sufficient. Okay, that is sufficient. Even this 25% tariffs also, they are not going to ask generally. Okay, but gradually, daily when you start reading newspaper, that 25% automatically it will become your integral part. You need not make an extra effort to retain that 25%. Okay, the 25%. Next, back home. So that is the impact on USA. Back home means in India. Profits of Indian pharma firms may decline. What does it mean? Pharma firms mean? What does it mean? Pharma firms. The companies which are producing pharmaceutical products in India. It may be drug, it may be vaccine, or it may be some other equipments. Okay, automatically there, what? Profits will decline because there will be lesser number of people in USA ready to purchase Indian goods because taxes are more, the items are costlier. Okay, so may decline. See, look at the word may decline. And the research and development may stagnate. What does it mean? Research and development may stagnate. So what is research and development? Why this term has come in this context? Why research and development has come in this context? Yes.
It requires fund and less trade and less funds.
Yes. Now, research and development. When every time the same drug we are not going to use, we are going to increase the efficiency of the drug. Okay. So to increase the efficiency of any drug, the drug may be for cancer or it may be for blood pressure or diabetes. So there are various tablets. So what continuous research will be going on? So in what way we have to enhance the efficiency of the drug? So this research and development, a lot of funding is required, money is required. So you will do research and development only when you understand that the end result of the research will result into profit. So good research, good product, so more number of people are ready to buy, then you will invest more in research and development. But even after doing all this research and development, when you want to export to a country like USA, so there are less number of buyers because of the hefty taxes being imposed, then an industry which is manufacturing, it will be less interested to invest in research and development. Okay, so India's research and development with respect to pharmaceutical products will also take a hit. Okay, slowing down innovation. So innovation will slow down. Whatever is there with the same will continue. Innovation will slow down. And stalling new drug clearances. Okay, so drug clearances means in India as well as other country, whenever a new drug comes to the market, so whether this drug is fit enough to be consumed by the consumer. If a BP tablet or a diabetic tablet comes, so directly the company is not going to sell it in the market. Before that we have authority called as CDSCO, we will be discussing later on, Central Drug Standard Control Authority. So what they will do is they will check the standard, whether the drug is as per the expectation or not, whether it is really going to cure or not. So these are called as drug clearances. So automatically drug clearances will also come down. Okay, come down. Now in these two paragraphs we saw the impact on both USA as well as India. What are the impacts on USA? Impacts on USA. Yes. Inflate US drug costs. What? Interrupt the smooth trade flow. Next. Put pressure on American healthcare. Impact on India. India's pharma firms. Yes. Profits decline. Fear. First one is profits will decline. Next. Research and development stagnate. Slow down innovation. Stalling new drug clearances. So these are the main answers. So many of them, even after preparing for years together, they don't know how to extract the points from exam point of view. Okay, so that's why rather than depending on newspaper, they depend on some magazines. But rather than depending on magazines, when you start reading newspaper, the type of knowledge which you will build, that comprehensive knowledge. So any kind of question you will be able to address very confidently in the examination hall. Okay, that's very important. But it's not a one-day exercise. This exercise has to be what? Consistent effort. Okay, consistently you have to read daily, then itself you will be able to frame what wonderful answers in the examination. India is not just a key supplier of generic medicines to the USA, but also part of the backbone of affordable global healthcare. There are so many words. Okay, so what do you understand by this this line? India is not just a key supplier of generic medicines to the US, but also part of the backbone of the affordable global healthcare. So can you, did you come across any technical keywords first time? Global healthcare. Generic medicine. The keyword here is generic medicine. So we came across a keyword called as generic medicine. So directly a question can be asked in prelims. Okay, generic medicine. Next, affordable global healthcare. So what do we understand by healthcare? Anything associated with health is a healthcare. It may be tablet, it may be vaccines, it may be some machine to test your diabetes, some machine to test your BP, okay, a machine to test your heartbeat. Everything it comes under healthcare. Okay, it comes under healthcare. What is affordable healthcare? Means everything is available at a cheaper rate. You go for a test, any kind of diabetic test, so it should be available at a cheaper rate. If you go for any kind of let's assume tablets, so it should be available at a cheaper rate. So that is called as affordable. Cheaper, rather than cheaper, I'll say affordable. Okay, everyone should be able to afford it. Okay, affordable healthcare. Okay, global healthcare, but also part of the backbone of the affordable global healthcare. India is not just a key supplier of generic medicines to the US, but also part of the backbone of the affordable global healthcare. So it means India is part of the backbone of the affordable global healthcare. Okay, so across the globe, healthcare has been made affordable by many countries, and among those many countries, India has played a significant role. India has played a significant role. Now, directly when you read newspaper, you will not understand what does it mean. Okay, what does it mean? Now, first before that, we need to discuss about generic medicines. So when you go to any medical shop, so generally there are two types of medicines available. One is branded drugs. Branded drugs, another all generic medicines or generic drugs. Okay. Now branded drugs, they are the one who have initially done the research and development, and they have produced a particular drug. Okay, let's assume drug related to blood pressure. Okay, blood pressure. So this drug generally, let's assume one tablet costs around 10 rupees. One tablet costs around 10 rupees. So Probably let's assume a person who is having blood pressure, he has to consume around 2 to 3 tablets per day, let's assume. So 3 tablets per day, so daily he has to spend 30 rupees. Okay. But for a person who is working on who is a daily wager, daily laborer, so he may be getting around 300 to 500, so he has to make so many other expenses. For him, even this 30 rupees will be a costly affair. Now he wants drugs at a very cheaper price, otherwise he will stop consuming the medicines itself. Okay, so this is the case. So in the worst case, what happens? Over a long period of time, if he does not consume the medicines, then it will have a negative impact on his health. His health will deteriorate. Okay, his health will deteriorate. So for that, there are other set of medicines called as generic medicines. So these generic medicines, so if one tablet price is 10 rupees, so under generic medicine, the price of one tablet will be 1 rupee. I am just giving an example. So daily he has to spend just 3 rupees. So which one is better? 30 rupees or 3 rupees? Obviously 3 rupees. Okay, 3 rupees. Now what is the difference between branded drugs and generic drugs? Okay, so the doctors as part of our team, so we should be very cautious. So generally when you ask a doctor, so the response will be like this. So generic drugs, they are of not good quality. You should not buy generic drugs. So if you buy branded drugs, then it will have a positive impact on your health. Okay, but in reality, again there may be some inconsistency as well. But in reality, so both of them are same. Generic drug and branded drug, both of them are same. The content is same. Okay, the content is same. But because of some quality checking and all, there may be some kind of it may not be of that much standard of branded drugs, but generally it will be of the same quality. Okay, same quality. Then why will we not manufacture generic drugs in large quantity? The next question is, if this is the case, then why will not manufacture only generic drugs? Why we shall go for branded drugs? Okay, generic drugs, they have been derived from branded drugs. Generic drugs, they have not done any kind of research. What they have done is, they have just done copy paste work. Whatever content is there, they have copied it and they have manufactured generic drugs. Now the person who has invested a lot in research and development, he has hired many people for testing this drug. Okay, he has paid them salary, he has done so much research. After doing all that research, finally he has come up with a product, and before that he has taken the government clearance, and then he has started selling the product in the market. Now he should get profit, right? Yes or no? So ideally he has invested so much on research and development, and also for the welfare of the people, okay, so that he can address the problems like blood pressure and all. Now he has invested so much of money, crores together he has invested. Now he has to earn profit. So let's assume on January 1, 2021, so he has got final permission to sell the drug in the Indian market. Okay, to sell the drug in the Indian market. Now he'll start selling and he'll start making profit. So whatever the costs he has undergone in terms of research and development, so all the costs he will gain through profit. Okay, he'll start making profit, but it will take its own course of time. On January 1 itself, on January 1, 2021 itself, if another person who makes a generic duplicate version of the same drug, and he also takes a government permission and starts selling in the market, so whose tablets will be sold more? We'll call it as person B, person A. So whose company will make more sales? Person B. Okay, his company will make more sales. Then person A, what happens? He'll suffer losses. No one is ready to buy his drug. So ultimately he has to shut down his firm itself. And in the future, will he be willing to do any kind of research on drugs and all? No. He'll say, I will go from India itself. I am no longer going to stay in India. I will go to some other country. So what happens is, immediately on the same day, if you are going to also give permission to start a generic drug, so for innovation there will be no value. For innovation there will be no value. So here comes the Indian Patents Act. Patents Act. About these things we will be discussing later on. So as per the Patents Act, so this generic drug manufacturer, company B, he also requires government permission. But government, what it has done is, whosoever wants to manufacture generic medicines, they have to wait for at least 5 years. Means person A, he'll start selling today. Okay, so he'll start selling today. So at least for 5 years, that is till December 31, 2025, no person should be given the permission to manufacture the duplicate or copied version of the same drug. Now what happens? No one will be able to manufacture it. Even if they manufacture, they will be arrested. Okay, they will be arrested. For 5 years, only person A, company A will be selling its drug in the market. So in the 5 year, it will make significant profit. significant profit. After 5 years, this company A will also be what? Manufacturing and selling. So some company, let's say B, so they will also start manufacturing, they will get permission from the government. Now sales, it depends. Okay, now people who are aware, who cannot afford, they will go for generic medicines. Now people who are rich enough, so if someone convinces them saying that if you are going to use this medicine, then your lifespan will be reduced, so you have to stick to what? Branded medicines. Obviously they will purchase branded medicines. So it depends. So automatically sale is not going to be reduced to zero even in case of branded drugs. But here after 5 years, there are some people who can get affordable medicines, and there are some people who can afford the costlier medicines also, they will go ahead with it. So here there is a balancing. What is a balancing? Balancing between affordable healthcare and also innovation. Okay, innovation. If they had given the license on the very first day to the generic manufacturer, then innovation would have no value. But after 5 years, they are giving the permission to the generic medicine developer. So they are also promoting affordable healthcare. Okay, affordable healthcare. So this is the basics about generic medicine. Again, we will be discussing about it in detail in the forthcoming classes. So India is not just a key supplier of the generic medicine. So generally, we call India as a pharmacy of the world. We call India as pharmacy of the world because we supply these pharmaceutical products to different parts of the world. So this does not mean that India has the highest amount of innovation when it comes to medicines. No. When it comes to generic drugs, okay, we supply drugs of very cheaper price to different parts of the world, especially to countries of Africa. So African countries are very poor countries. Okay, they cannot afford costly drugs. To such nations, we supply drugs at a cheaper rate. Hence, India is called as pharmacy of the world. Okay, pharmacy of the world because it supplies generic drugs. Okay, generic drugs. So India is not just a key supplier of generic medicines to the US. So to USA, India supplies generic drugs. That's true. But at the same time, it is part of the backbone of the affordable global healthcare. Yes or not? So India is a part of the, it's a backbone of the affordable healthcare because to the other part of the world, we supply generic medicines. Okay, generic medicines. So these are the things which should get connected. So initially when we start reading the newspaper, we are not aware of all these things. We will not be able to connect these dots. So what we do is after 2 to 3 days, we will quit. Okay, so we should not, or someone will guide, no, newspaper is not important. And they will quit and they will start with some other static books. Okay, static books, they are not completely beneficial. The major beneficial aspect is newspaper. Okay, newspaper. This move is a wake-up call and India must double down on securing free trade agreements with other major economies, said Sanjay Mariwala, Executive Chairman and MD of the Omni Active Health Technologies. Okay, so this company name and all, it's not important. What is important here is free trade agreement. So here look at, this move is a wake-up call. Which move is a wake-up call? What is wake-up call? Yes, wake-up call means in Kannada we call it HRK. So this should become a wake-up call. Why should it should be a wake-up call? Because we were not aware that Trump is going to impose so and so taxes. So all of a sudden he has imposed. Now it is going to have a negative impact on India. Okay, negative impact on India. Then in this context, he is saying that if we sign more number of free trade agreements, then we will not suffer these problems. So next comes the concept of free trade agreement. So this is a very important keyword from the prelims point of view. The same can be quoted in mains as well. Okay. So again in the forthcoming classes we will be discussing in detail. For time being we shall understand what is a free trade agreement. Okay. So if India and let's assume UK and also USA. So if India signs a free trade agreement with USA, let's assume it will be for some years, 4 years, 5 years or 10 years. So for 10 years in this free trade agreement what we will say is whatever products are coming from India we are not going to tax extra. Whatever products are coming from USA, we are not going to tax any extra amount. So this is called as free trade agreement. But presently India does not have a free trade agreement with USA. Supposedly if we had a free trade agreement with USA, then we would have not faced this problem. So now he has given that this is a wake-up call. In this context, not only with US, with also other European countries, we should sign free trade agreements. Because in the future, if some other leader of some other country, if he starts imposing taxes, then it will have a negative impact on India's pharmaceutical industry. Okay, industry. So this is the meaning of free trade agreement. Stating that India had long been a cornerstone of the global pharmaceutical supply chain. So global pharmaceutical supply chain means involved in supplying pharmaceutical products to different parts of the world, especially in generics. Okay, especially it is famous in generics. Bhavin Mukunda, Vice Chairman, Pharma Export Council of India, Pharmaceutical Export Council of India, not important. While we understand the evolving trade policies of our global partners. So who are trade partners? With whomsoever we do trade, they are our trade partners. USA is a trade partner, Russia is a trade partner, Japan is a trade partner, Middle East is a trade partner. So all the countries with whom we do trade, import and export, they are called as trade partners. Okay, trade partners. So we understand the evolving trade policies. What is an example of a trade policy? Example of a trade policy. Okay, increasing and decreasing of taxes is an example of a trade policy. Now presently we are discussing the trade policy of which country? USA. So in its trade policy, it has increased the tariffs on Indian products. Okay, Indian products. So that's an example of trade policy of our global partners. The proposed 25% hike on Indian pharma imports raises concerns about rising costs and potential disruptions in medicine access for US patients. So it will cause problem to patients who are residing in USA. Okay, USA. Such policy shifts could inadvertently affect public health outcomes. So here, such kind of policies by the USA government will affect public health outcomes. What is public health? The health of the people. So how do you calculate or how do you determine the public health? So we calculate by various measures. For example, mortality. Generally we will take what? Under 5 mortality. Okay. So infant mortality. Maternal mortality. So because of the lack of access to proper drugs, so mortality, death may occur. For example, during delivery, whatever the death occurs, we call it as maternal mortality. If a child does not get a proper treatment, so it will lead to what? Child mortality. So all these are examples of public health outcomes. So it may affect negatively all these aspects. So previously, if the deaths were, let's assume maternal mortality, 80 mothers die for 1 lakh births. Okay, 1 lakh births. Now rather than 80, if it increases to 100, so 100, it means previously for 1 lakh births, so 80 mothers died in USA. Now because of these policies, the number of mothers' death might increase to 100. I am just giving an example. So that is the meaning of public health. So because of the trade policies, it may have a negative impact on the public health in USA. Okay, public health in USA. Okay, USA. So with this we have concluded the article. Okay, article. Now here we have understood few things. We have understood few things. But at the same time, we have to mark few points which are important for prelims. Rest all the things are understanding. So we have to mark the things for prelims. So can we quickly mark the points which are important for prelims? Yes. So keyword is tariff. Okay. 25% not important, but just we shall mark it. 25% is tariff. So this is one keyword. Next one. Next. No, those will not mark, because again it will become lengthy. You understood? Okay, you understood. So again it is left to you how you are going to prepare. Okay, how you are going to prepare. I am just trying to identify the keywords. So one is tariff is a keyword. Okay, so when you hear about tariff, so what happens to tariff? Whether it has been increased or decreased recently, it has been increased. Okay, similarly, we came across generic drugs. So this is a keyword. Generic drug is a keyword. Next, affordable global healthcare is a keyword. Next, yes, free trade agreement. Where it is present? Here. Okay, free trade agreement. Okay, so these are the things which will focus. Okay, which will focus. So in this fashion, gradually we will start learning the articles one by one. So once we start learning the articles, we do not require any kind of book. Okay, we do not require any kind of book. So whatever the background is there, I will be presenting the other information also I will be presenting. So in this fashion, we are supposed to understand each and every article which appears in the newspaper. And from the business perspective, we have to understand the articles which appear in business page. And one more is editorial page. Okay, editorial page. Now, not all the articles will be important. Some articles will not have what important information. We will skip them. Okay, we will skip them. So let's try to see this article. This is a very small what information. So TVS Motor Q1 net profit jumps 35% on higher revenue. So when I look at this headline itself, I will understand that it is not important. Okay, he is speaking about a private company that is called as TVS. Quarter 1 means, sure, okay, this term is important. What is quarter 1? So quarter means we should not get confused with 180 ml. Okay, so here quarter means, so financial year, it has 4 quarters. Financial year starts from April 1 to March 31st. So this year has been divided into 4 quarters. Okay, April, May, June. April to June 30, it is quarter 1. Which is quarter 2? July 1 to September 30. July, August, September. Okay, so quarter 2. Next, which is quarter 3? October, November, December. Which is the 4th quarter? January, February, March. Okay, 4th quarter. So he is speaking about quarter 1, that is April, May, June. Okay, May, June. So TVS Motor reported first quarter net profit. So net profit, these terms, okay, leave it, later on we shall see. The company net profit increased. So net profit means after removing all the expenses. That's called as net profit. First quarter in the same period, revenue grew in the April, June from 367. Overall 2-wheeler and 3-wheeler sales including exports grew, registering units in the period as against. Okay, complete information is not important. Not even a single line is here. Understanding is there. Okay, so we should understand what is net profit. Next, exports. Okay, not important. Just leave it. Okay. So this content does not have any information from the exam point of view. Next, Adani Enterprises. Again, a private company. Not that much important, but just we shall look into it. Holding company. So here, what is the holding company of Adani Group? So later on we shall see what is holding company, what is the meaning of holding company. Okay, so that holding company, the term is important. For the first quarter ended, decline, consolidated. So here we need to understand the term, meaning of the terms called is decline. What is decline? Okay, consolidated net compared. So EBITDA later on we shall see. Established the world's most successful infrastructure. Okay, see here, Adani Enterprises has established itself as the world's most successful infrastructure incubators. So what is the incubator? It's a generic English word. We have to understand. Specifically from the exam point of view, there is no information present here as well. Okay, here as well. Next, IT officials search Nuvama offices over Jane Street links. So income tax department. This is a keyword. Officials conducted searches at various offices of Nuvama Wealth Management Limited on Thursday, according to sources. Some private company is there. They have raided on that particular institute. Nuvama said in an exchange filing that it was fully cooperating with the IT authorities in the search. The wealth management firm was reportedly trading in India for Jane Street. The grounds of the searches were not known, and Nuvama maintained that the searches had not concluded. Its searches declined 2.5% to close at 7,228 on the BSE, reacting to the report. BSE. Okay. So here there are 3 keywords. What is wealth management firm? Okay, we have to search about it later on, at least 2 to 3 lines. That would be sufficient. Next, income tax department. Income tax department, it comes under which ministry? Yes, Ministry of Finance. So that is important. It comes under Ministry of Finance. Next, we saw a term called as BSE. BSE indicates Bombay Stock Exchange. So this Bombay Stock Exchange, it's important word. Okay, so what is Bombay Stock Exchange? So related to Bombay Stock Exchange, we will be discussing under our static notes. Okay, but now while reading, you should mark these points. Okay, income tax department, wealth management firm, Bombay Stock Exchange. So what is that? How does it work? We will be looking into it later on. Okay, later on. First, we'll start with small articles. Then we'll go for a larger one. Okay. Apparel exports to US may slow down. What is apparel? Okay, associated with textiles. Okay, associated with textiles. So apparel exports from India to US are expected to slide till a bilateral trade agreement is signed between the 2 countries. What does it mean? Now you should be able to tell the meaning of this particular paragraph. Because of the imposition of the tariff by the USA, so India's apparel exports to USA are going to increase or decrease? Decrease. So that is indicated by the term slide. So this will continue till what period? Till a free trade agreement is signed. So whether presently India has a free trade agreement with USA? No. In the examination if they ask, so consider the following statements. Option number 1, India has signed a free trade agreement with USA. We don't know what will happen in the upcoming days till the month of May. Okay, but at present we do not have a free trade agreement with USA. Okay, USA. So only we'll understand. We are not going to mark any points from the prelims. Sudhir Sekri, chairman of the AEPC. So AEPC means probably it may be Apparel Exports Promotion Committee. Not important. No, Promotion Council, not important. Said in a release that the US tariff of 25% is higher than what was expected. The BTA, what is BTA? Bilateral Trade Agreement. So how they will write is, the person who is reading the newspaper already is well aware of all the facts. We saw free trade agreements. Similarly, he is speaking about BTA, Bilateral Trade Agreement. The BTA should hopefully be concluded by October, December. So by October, December, this agreement should be signed. Okay, maybe signed. He is saying about it. The penalty is a grey area. So on top of the extra taxes, Trump has also said that he will be imposing penalties. So those who have read the newspaper will get to know. So why he is imposing penalties? Because US has said that India should not do any kind of business with Russia. But India is doing business with Russia as well. Hence, what Trump has done is, apart from the taxes, we are also going to impose extra penalty. Okay, penalty. So the penalty is a grey area. For timing, just leave it. And we hope the government will negotiate this with the US. The steep tariff increase. What is steep tariff increase? So this is called as gradual increase. Slow increase. Steep means sudden increase. So from 5% to all of a sudden 25% is called a steep increase. If from 5%, if you took it to 6%, 7%, is called as gradual increase. So this steep tariff increase, it's a generic English word. It's not an economic related term. The steep tariff increase puts immense pressure on the Indian exporters. So will it put pressure on Indian exporters? Because a lesser number of buyers will be interested in USA to buy products from India. Many of whom operate on wafer thin margins. Already the exporters are getting very small amount of profit. On top of this, such policy from the USA government will have a complete negative impact on India's exporters. Okay, exporters may be forced to either absorb the additional costs, hurting profitability, or pass them on to the US buyers, which can further dampen demand. So it has a lot of understanding. Okay, we have to understand this. Exporters may be forced to either absorb the additional costs. So there are two options to exporters. One is, whatever the extra taxes the USA government is imposing, they have to absorb it. Means, previously let's assume on one tablet, if he is getting 10 rupees profit, now he is going to absorb the tax, those extra taxes. So rather than getting 10 rupees profit on a tablet, now he is getting only 5 rupees. So this is one option. Okay, one option. Other option is, pass them to US buyers. Other option is, make this tablet itself costlier in USA. Okay, so the tax will be passed to the people who are going to consume the medicines. But that can further dampen demand. What happens? So gradually, those people may not be interested to buy medicines from India. Okay, so both sides they are discussed. The impact will be severe on labor intensive units. This is also very important. So what are labor intensive units? Labor intensive units, the opposite is capital intensive units. Now in some factories, so they use lot of equipments. So there is automation. So everything is done by machines. But in some other industries, it is done by manually by laborers. So especially when the exports get reduced, so who will be hit? Who will be the largest hit? Labor intensive industries, because their machines can keep quiet. You need not feed them. Okay, but laborers, if they do not have work, then how will they feed themselves and their family? That will be difficult. So it will be especially have a negative impact more on labor intensive units. Said Executive Director of the Cotton Textiles Export Promotion Council. Okay, again not that much important. Export Promotion Council. So here we understood, but there is no keyword which we are going to identify and mark it for prelims exclusively. But understanding is important. Okay, understanding is important. What kind of understanding is important? So what are the various options available to the exporters in the context of USA enhancing the taxes on the Indian imports? So they can reduce their profit by absorbing the taxes. So other one is, they can pass on the taxes to the end users, but that will dampen the demand of imports from India. Okay, dampen means reduce the demand. Okay, reduce the demand. Maruti Suzuki Q1 net rises to 2%. Now you should tell whether it is important or not. Okay, not important. Okay, not important. Still I'll scan it. Okay, not important. Now we'll go to a bit larger article. Supreme Court recalls May 2 verdict for Bhushan Steel liquidation. So even though it's a private company, but here there are few terms which are important for the exam point of view. So we'll just fastly scan through it and just mark the important points. Okay. So special bench. So what is special bench? So we'll learn once we start discussing about Supreme Court in polity. List review petition. What is review petition? This is also important. We'll learn once we start discussing about Supreme Court. So this review petition is important. For detailed hearing on August 7 says it is a fit case wherein judgment under the review needs to be recalled and the matter is to be considered afresh. Okay. So here you have marked the keywords. So a special bench of the Supreme Court headed by Chief Justice of India B.R. Gawai on Thursday recalled a May 2 verdict of the court which rejected a resolution by plan submitted by JSW Steel for Bhushan Power and Steel Limited. Okay. Here a term called as resolution plan. This is important. Okay. JSW Steel, Bhushan. So here this JSW and Bhushan Powers and Steel Limited, that is not important. The term important here is resolution plan. Now this article has appeared in the context of Bhushan Power and Steel Limited. One company is there, so it has taken some loan, it has taken some debt from the banks or other entities. Now they are unable to repay the debt. Okay, debt. So in this context, some other company, for example JSW Steel, they want to purchase it. In that context, this article has appeared. So here the important keyword is resolution plan. So in one go we will not understand. When we start discussing about other aspects, gradually we will connect. Okay, we will connect. So this case has gone to Supreme Court. Okay, this case has gone to Supreme Court. Here we come across Apex Court. What is Apex Court? Supreme Court itself is called as Apex Court. High Court is not called as Apex Court. Supreme Court is called as Apex Court. Judgment had further ordered the liquidation of the BPCL. So here the term liquidation is important. Okay, so afterwards we shall understand liquidation. Okay, liquidation. So just mark the points. Resolution plan, liquidation. Next, however, on Thursday the bench decided to hear the case afresh. It was of the prima facie. So this is a Latin word, prima facie. View that the judgment in May authorized by Justice Bela Trivedi had not clearly appreciated the legal position in the case. Prima facie, we are of the view that the judgment did not correctly consider the legal position laid down in the catena of judgments. It said various factual aspects had to be taken into consideration in the case. This is a fit case wherein judgment under review need to be recalled and the matter is to be considered afresh, the court concluded. It listed the review petition for detailed hearing on August 7. On May 26, the Apex Court had ordered status quo, important, in the liquidation proceedings before the National Company Law Tribunal. This is very important. So when the National Company Law Tribunal came, now the question that we are supposed to ask to ourselves is whether it is a constitutional body. No, it is not a constitutional body. If it was a constitutional body, we would have discussed somewhere while discussing about polity. It's not a constitutional body. Whether it's a statutory body, whether any act exists for the National Company Law Tribunal, if yes, which is the act? We have to search for that act. So this is important. The court laid down the orders of the status quo on liquidation to give JSW time to file a review petition. The court had at the same time said status quo ought to prevail for BPSL in the interest of justice and to avoid future complications. JSW had argued that the case was complicated and must not be rushed into liquidation. Senior advocate Neeraj Kishan Kaul for JSW had informed the court that BPSL had an annual turnover of 28,000 crore in 1 year. The firm employed 25,000 people. On May 2, the Supreme Court had found JSW's resolution plan for BPSL in flagrant violation and contravention of the law. The court had faulted the Committee of Creditors, again important, for accepting the resolution plan. The COC represented by Solicitor General, again an important point, Tushar Mehta, too submitted his reservation about the May 2 judgment. So if you look at this entire article, hardly there are 5 points which are important. So these 5 points which we are going to extract, so this is going to land us into what? That success. Because every day such articles will appear, each and every line, initially we start feeling that it is important from exam point of view, but not important. So whatever the points I have marked, can you please list it? Which are the points? First we will start from here. Special bench. So you don't worry about whether it is important for economics or polity. All the terms which have appeared from any subject, they are important. So special bench. Special bench. Next. Yes. Review petition. Review petition. Next. Resolution plan. Very good. Resolution plan. Next. Liquidation. Very good. Liquidation. Next. Yes. National Company Law Tribunal. Good. Next. Yes. Apex Court. Apex Court. Next. Yes.
Law tribunals.
Yes.
Law tribunal.
Yeah, company NCLT, National Company Law Tribunal. Committee of Creditors. Very good. So COC, Committee of Creditors. Next. Solicitor General. Solicitor General. Over? Are there any other terms? No. So these are the only terms which are important. Now once you understand about these terms, you will start connecting one by one, not in one single day. The same set of news is going to appear again and again. Gradually over a period of time, we should be able to understand and connect the dots. Now if you look here, we saw something called as liquidation, we saw resolution plan. Now will you tell me, this resolution plan will be submitted to whom and who will accept it based on this article? Resolution plan was submitted by someone and it was accepted by someone. If you look at this, see here. The court had failed to faulted committee of creditors for accepting resolution plan. See here, now we are connecting. Here we have committee of creditors for accepting the resolution plan. So gradually we will start establishing the connection. So it means resolution plan was submitted. Who accepted it? Committee of creditors accepted it. But now Supreme Court has blamed committee of creditors. You have done a mistake by accepting it. Now questions will start arising in our brain. Who submitted it? Now here it is absent. Okay. So gradually we'll start connecting. Who submitted it? Yes, who submitted it? Submitted by JSW Steel. Okay, JSW Steel, he submitted what? Resolution plan. So what is this resolution plan? Why did he submit? Why Supreme Court is blaming for committee of creditors? So these all things will start connecting the dots one by one. So at least in the first round, we should be able to identify these things. Okay. So in one single day, you cannot become perfect in economics. It should happen over a period of time. So what happens initially when there is a lot of enthusiasm, you will spend a whole day on this article. Now next day, you will be so much reluctant even to open the newspaper because you have spent the entire day on just one single article. So next day, you will be what? Fearing to open the newspaper. That should not happen. So the process should be gradual. The process should be gradual. So just in the first day, what you will do? You will identify the terms. You understood few things. You will move to the next article. Okay. Gradually over the period of time, we will start understanding the things. Okay. We will start understanding the things. Okay. Is there any other article remaining? So just every day, just go through this. They never asked a question, but they may ask. So many times we skip these things. So USA, dollar, euro, European Union currency, British pound, Japanese, Chinese, Swiss, Singapore, Canadian, Malaysian ringgit, Australian dollar. Okay. Daily when you look into it, gradually it will become your integral part. You need not make an effort to memorize them. Okay. To memorize them. So these things are not important. You just leave it. Okay. Here there are many people who read newspaper. They read newspaper, but they don't have that curiosity because no one has guided them. Because I have seen many students, so very, very easy questions, they'll miss it. So here we come across a term called as Sensex. Every day it appears. This term appears every day. We should be aware what is Sensex. So recently we saw here, just now we saw about BSE, Bombay Stock Exchange. One more is there, NSE, National Stock Exchange. So one is Sensex, another one is Nifty. Here they are not mentioned, but probably afterwards we will see. What is Sensex? We have Nifty. Oh, here itself we have Nifty. So both of them are important. Sensex is also important, Nifty is also important. US dollar, okay, gold. This Brent oil, okay, Brent oil, it's very important, but the majority of them, they do not focus on this area. Okay, sometimes it will appear as part of the news, but on everyday basis it will appear here. What is Brent? What is Brent? So this should be the curiosity. Now based on this content, I will show you a question which has appeared in 2015. I will show you a question which has appeared probably in 2024 also. But people are not aware why they have asked such kind of questions. They are not aware why they have asked such kind of question. Now probably you can search. I will just share a question. Share a question, please go through this question. What is the question regarding? Border. Countries have a border with North Sea. Okay, North Sea. So if you look at the world map, there are so many seas. I asked you to prepare for around 7 to 8 seas. Have I asked that? Okay. Which were the various seas? Mediterranean Sea, Black Sea, Caspian Sea, Red Sea, Adriatic Sea, South China Sea, East China Sea, North Sea, Baltic Sea. There are people who are not aware of this strategy. So they think that they should become what? The master of the entire world geography. Whatever the small lakes and seas are present in the globe, they want to prepare for each and every sea. The sea which is present in USA, North America, the sea which is present in what? Africa, Europe. So it is practically possible. There are hundreds of seas. It is practically not possible to prepare each and every sea and the surrounding countries. Initially we will have this enthusiasm, but gradually that enthusiasm will fade. We will not be able to practically prepare. Even today if I ask you about the countries surrounding Mediterranean Sea, you will be able to recall? On that day you are able to recall. The day I had asked you to work on Mediterranean Sea, all of you are able to recall. So which are the countries surrounding Black Sea? Yes. Okay. Countries surrounding Red Sea, without looking into the book. Yes. Red Sea. Yes. Egypt, Israel? No. Israel is not part of it. Desi. Okay. Djibouti, Egypt. Next. Eritrea, Saudi Arabia, Somalia. Somalia is there? Sudan is there? Okay. So here hardly around 4 to 5 seas I have mentioned, and that too around hardly 10 or 15 days back. At that time you are able to recall, now you are not able to recall. So in the examination if you prepare hundreds of seas, that is practically possible? It's not possible. So how is it North Sea related to Brent oil? See, Brent is a what? Standard of oil. Now when you purchase gold, there is a gold standard, right? We measure in terms of carat. 24 carat, 22 carat. Similarly, when we purchase oil, different parts of the country, so different parts of the world, there are different standards. Brent oil is a standard of oil which is extracted from North Sea. Ural is a standard of oil which comes from Russia. West Texas WTI, West Texas Instrument is a standard of oil which comes from USA. So these are the basics. Okay, these are the basics. Now based on this Brent oil, they have framed a question on North Sea. But those who are unaware of the technique, what they will do? They will make a list of all the seas which are present in the globe, hundreds of seas, and start mugging up the countries bordering those seas. Practically it is impossible. Okay, it is impossible. So this is what? Understanding the demand of the examination. So those who understood the demand, they have reduced the content, and in the examination hall they are able to perform very confidently. Okay, very confidently. So this is the approach. Okay, this is the approach. Okay. Next. So this article is over. Maruti Suzuki. Apparel exports over. Okay. Next. Tata Motors we have discussed. No, I guess. Tata Motors to acquire Italian CV company Iveco. So acquire means they are going to purchase it. Okay, purchase it. Again a private entity, not that much important. Let's quickly go through the content. Tata Motors Limited has signed an agreement to acquire Iveco Group NV, a European leader in commercial vehicles. So what are commercial vehicles? We will not connect this article. What is commercial vehicle? This we have to understand. Two-wheeler, what is commercial vehicle? And mobility, what is mobility? Normal English word. Through a subsidiary, what is subsidiary? So these are keywords which you have to understand. What is a commercial vehicle? What is the meant by mobility? What is subsidiary? A company has a subsidiary. What do we understand by subsidiary? Okay, subsidiary. Iveco Group Board has recommended Tata Motors all cash voluntary tender offer of shares. This all cash deal will be funded through a bridge loan to be repaid in 4 years, and Tata Motors said it would raise $1 billion equity. Okay, here it comes to term called equity. So this equity term is important. To find the acquisition, this will be Tata Motors' biggest acquisition once complete. So they are not going to ask like which is the biggest acquisition of Tata Motors. No. In 2008, the company had acquired Jaguar Land Rover, Mr. Balaji Iveco deal, one of the top positions of Tata, which had earlier commercial vehicles. The completion of the offer is conditional on the separation of Iveco's defense business. Together, Iveco and the commercial vehicle business of Tata. Tata, this is a logical next. Okay. So hardly we have identified three terms. Which are they? Equity, next subsidiary, commercial vehicle, mobility. So these are the terms which we'll understand. Okay, we'll understand. So no other word is important from exam point of view. Next, if you look at this, digital firms flag cost justification to certify mobile numbers. Okay, mobile numbers. So online firms are worried about the financial consequences of a draft telecom rule setting up a framework to validate mobile numbers lawful owners. Okay, so here we come across few things. Telecom rule, okay, that too it is draft. So when it is in the draft stage, it is not important from the exam point of view. Once it becomes finalized, then it will become important. So here some rules are being made by the government, telecom department. So that rules, if it is brought, then it will become a concern for before issuing that mobile connectivity and all. So they are mentioned, but still it is in the draft stage, hence not important. Okay, not important. The draft telecom cyber security amendment rules, still the draft stage, not important. But next question is, telecom rules are made by which ministry? So we have discussed, right? If you understand, have they given here? While discussing about the polity in parliament, we came across a committee called as Committee on Subordinate Legislation. Okay, we discussed about executive delegation. What is executive delegation? The rules making power is called as executive delegation. Law will be made by parliament. Lok Sabha will pass a bill, Rajya Sabha will pass a bill, president will sign. But the detailed rules and regulations who are going to make? Ministry, that is executive. So here from exam point of view, what we have to understand is who has the responsibility of making telecommunication related rules? Ministry of Information Broadcasting or Ministry of Communication? Ministry of Communication. Even if the content is not here, we will search for extra information and we will add it. Would allow telecom operators to collect up to per request from private entities and rule return name of the phone number subscribers. Okay, not important. The Internet and Mobile Association of India, which represents firms like Google, Apple and Amazon, expressed its concern to the Department of Telecommunications. So this is also keyword. So this department works under which ministry? The draft amendments introduce a new class of regulated entities, telecommunication identifier user entity, so TIUE. Still it is in the draft stage, so we will not worry about it. And defines them as any person or entity other than a licensed or authorized entity using telecom entities for user identification or services. This identification is unqualified and will cover nearly all digital platforms or services that use mobile numbers, bringing to tech firms doorstep rules to platforms that neither provide telecom services nor under the Telecommunications Act. This is important. Those rules are being brought under which act? Telecommunications Act. Okay, Act. E-mobility, e-commerce, social media. So these terms you have to understand. What do you understand by social media? An example of social media? Instagram. So, okay. think that the government should rather. Idea of telecom cyber security. This is a keyword. We have to understand what is cyber security. Okay. So over. So hardly there are 2 to 3 keywords. Okay. Which are they? One is rules made by which ministry? Department works under which ministry? We came up with a term called as cyber security. What is cyber security? We have to understand. So we have just listed around 2 to 3 terms. Okay. So are there any other articles left out? No. So all the articles are completed. So we have completed business page. So in this fashion, what we should do? We should identify the keywords in the articles which appear in the business page. Okay, in the business page. So if we do it on day-to-day basis, and also simultaneously when we are able to connect to the background, so that would be more than sufficient. Okay, that would be more than sufficient. Okay. So we shall take a break and then again continue.